What's going on, everybody? This is David Daniels, Red Dirt University. I'm here with my buddy, Mr. Clay Logan.
Lovers really fall in love, stand beside each other, come with me. And a promise really something people care, not something they would say.
From Shreveport, Louisiana, right?
Not originally.
Not originally. Where are you from originally?
Dallas, Texas.
Really? I'm from Dallas originally. What part of Dallas?
I was born in actual Dallas.
In Dallas?
Yeah.
Really? I grew up in Saxe, Garland. So when I lived in Saxe, though, have you been back there lately?
To the Denton area,
Denton.
Denison, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So whenever I was in Saxe growing up, it was like a pasture. Now it looks like Uri, you know what I mean? But way, obviously, more Dallas. But yeah, man, it was many moons ago. So grew up in Dallas. When did you move to Louisiana?
I've actually lived in Louisiana 90% of my life, I guess.
Really?
And, yeah. My dad was a Methodist minister, so we kind of moved around over 4 years.
My dad was a Baptist minister.
Really?
We got way more in common than we thought. Yeah, man. Well, that's awesome. So y'all just spent a little time leading worship in the Methodist church. Mm-hmm. So I know a little bit how that system works with appointments and stuff like that. So he was a pastor, I guess?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all just moved around in Louisiana?
Yeah, we stayed in Louisiana Methodist Conference.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, my dad was a Baptist evangelist, so we traveled the country.
Really?
So yeah, I was homeschooled my whole life up until I went to school first grade year, and other than that, man, I was really about it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was fun, but I got to travel the country. But whenever, most musicians talk about wanting to travel and live in a big motorhome, I grew up in a 45-foot motorhome, so that ain't really the dream for me, like it is a lot of people. But no, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So yes, did you grow up singing in church?
I did. I started at 4 years old, and I think about 6-ish maybe. I told Dad I didn't need him anymore and let me loose on my own. So after that, it was the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. So did you start out like playing the guitar?
No, I actually, on my 18th birthday, that was all I wanted was a guitar. Never picked one up at all. And my dad told me I would never learn it. Logans can't play anything besides the radio, so I learned enough to keep my voice in key and piss him off. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you, man. So guitar was first. You ain't ever fooled with the piano or nothing like that?
I took piano in 4th grade for a amount of about 2 weeks, and I've kicked myself in the butt ever since.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have stuck it out a little bit.
Yeah. So I fooled around with piano a little bit, took lessons, but never really learned how to play a song or anything like that. Right. Just, I guess, some basic music theory, and I learned how to play guitar just to have an accompaniment, essentially. But yeah, piano is a good way, I guess, to learn overall music theory. But there ain't a whole lot of country songs that need it. So
I love it though in the background, backing tracks or what have you. Yeah.
For sure. So when did you start getting into the country music scene? Did you listen to that as a kid, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. I was into, not really. I was into some of the outlaw stuff, but I was more the traditional, George Strait and George Jones and all that good stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I wish I would have listened to that whenever I was a kid. My dad, Willie Nelson was the devil whenever I was growing up, so I didn't have the opportunity to listen to a whole lot of that. I told Seth last week, first country song I ever heard was "Live Like You Were Dying," and I'd have loved to listen to all that stuff, but I get to make up for it now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, you can always rewind. And
that's right. That's right. Yep, it's been cool, man. So you play. I've got to hear a little bit of some of your music. Again, I think. The stage, I got to hear you there. I've heard you at just in passing at P-Row, but we both are playing shows all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And But you're playing pretty much every weekend, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for the next couple of months, I have about 5 shows a week. So.
Yeah. So, and you pretty much, I know I heard you play at P-Row one time, and we have similar sets. You play a lot of like Red Dirt and like 90s country and stuff like that.
Yeah. A little Southern rock, a little classic rock.
Yeah.
I try to change it up a little bit.
There you go. Do you do any writing, or you pretty much play covers right now? Or
I did some writing. This is early 2000s, I guess. And I had that whole Chasing the Dream in Trashville, Tennessee. And
yeah,
I gave it a run for its money. And now I would like to pick up the pen again just because of what I've kind of been through in the past. But it's coming, I hope. It's coming.
Man, it's just so hard to find time.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. When you're going 90 to nothing like me and you, I mean, you work full time too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do?
I work for Ryerson's. We're metal distribution.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
I work there 5 days a week and then gig another 5 days
Yep,
a week.
no, I feel you, man. Yep, that's like, I get it 100%.
Yeah.
So by the time you get done playing, which you're at Bojack's tonight, so you'll finish there at 10. By the time you get done tearing down, you're home 11:30.
Exactly.
And there's ain't a whole lot of writing, you know. I mean, I get it 100%. And I love to write. It's my favorite thing, like to sit and do. And it's one of them things you got to schedule time to do. And
My favorite is actually writing with somebody.
really, see, I've never done
two
that.
brains together, it just seems to flow, and
Yeah.
you can work out your ideas better, I guess.
I've written like where I've written the lyrics and then go in. Of course, my band's a lot more musically talented than I am, so I kind of rely on them for a lot of the guitar licks or stuff like that, you know. But from the lyrical standpoint, I've wanted to write with other people, just never have. It's just been one of them things where usually schedule-wise it just didn't work, you know. But I would love to like get a big cabin in Broken Bow one weekend, get a bunch of guys and go right. We need to do that. We need to just schedule it, make it happen. But I don't know.
In between 300 shows.
Exactly.
A year,
That's what I'm saying. Is like I don't know how we're gonna get like 5. There's gonna be no shows in Bossier that weekend. You know.
Yeah.
But I would love to do something like that, and love to write therapeutic for me, like what you were talking about, like things you've been through in life, and you know, it's just something. It's kind of like a brain vomit, if you want to say, just get it all out there, you know, and figure out a way to make it attractive enough for somebody to want to listen to. And but that's some of my favorite songs are lyrical songs. Like I love a good beat like anybody, you know. I mean, like there's a Reed Southall band song called "Sticking and Moving," and it has no lyrical concept whatsoever. I couldn't tell you like any words of it other than that, but the beat of it is just really good. But some couple songs like that. But the songs that I remember are the ones that, you know, really have a heavy impact. I think that's, and there's a lot of people that ain't like me that, you know, I'll use, I don't know who to use an example. I don't want to offend nobody, but I got a few friends that I'll be like, man, you listen to that song? I was like, dude, I don't know a word of that song. I love it, but then we're going to get back on pop country if we start talking about all that.
Exactly. Let's not do that.
Yeah, let's not get down that vein. Me and you will be down a wormhole. But no, man, I'm with you 100%. So growing up, grew up in the Methodist church, so I guess you swapped from school to school to school. Because y'all were all over,
4
huh?
years, yeah.
What was that like?
You made friends quick.
Yeah.
Or you just ate alone, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm good either way,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, you learn to adapt, and it really helped me musically, I feel like, because I got a bunch of genres of music thrown in my face, you know, constantly. Yeah. So I might even throw in a rap song one night. Yeah. Or, you know, which whatever. I love music.
I do too. I always tell people all the time, people like, what kind of music you listen to? Man, I listen to everything from Frank Sinatra to Lil Wayne. Anything in between. I respect good artists and good music, you know. There's some rap songs and some lines I'm thinking, man, why didn't I think of that?
I
like
know
that's such a good line. what was it? Somebody, I can't even remember the song right now, but it may have been Drake or somebody like that. Said they used to tell me to pay attention. Now attention pays me.
Exactly.
And I was like, man, I wish I'd have thought of that. That's such a good
Brilliant.
line.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So I love good lyrics. I love just people that are good at their craft, and you can tell bust their butt to get there.
Yeah.
I definitely respect all that. But that's cool. You grew up kind of just listening to all different kind of stuff. So you're about as country as cornbread, but you listen to all that kind of stuff growing
absolutely.
up. So.
Music, I don't care what it is, rap or
Yeah.
Southern rock, it can hit you.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
just that, like you were saying, the lyrical content.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what I listen to the most. Mm-hmm. I'm not a real big melody guy, which is maybe why I'm so bad on the guitar. But the lyrics are what hits me. Like Reed Southall, my favorite of his is Why.
Yeah, mine too.
Because we've all been there.
Yep.
We've all been
That
there.
one and The Moon and Back.
Yes.
It's like a 7-minute song that has hardly any melody really to it. But man, it is, what was the line in that song? It says, I guess the moon and back wasn't that far. Talking about how she always said how much she loved him and all this stuff, and loved him to the moon and back, but guess what, as far as he thought, I'm like, I mean, it's so brilliant, man. And so stuff like that, I sit down. But when I'm writing, that kind of stuff almost bugs me in a way, because I want to create something like that, and I try to force it sometimes. You know what I mean?
That's where I really hit my roadblock writing. Mm-hmm. I'm my own worst critic, as I'm sure most of us are, but I don't like juvenile lyrics.
No, 100%.
I don't like lyrics that were written with crayon, it seems like. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just, I like something thought-provoking,
Yep.
I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And those lyrics that you just sit back, man, why didn't I think of that? I probably said that 100 times in my life.
Simple as can be, you know? And, I listen to some of those songs, and it's like, man, you tell me nobody's written this song till now?
Exactly.
Why the heck?
And I have a notebook at home full of just one-liners and hooks, and I'm like, I'm gonna get back to that one day.
Yep.
And here we are, 10 years later.
That's
and
right. That's
it's
right.
still sitting there.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same way. I told Seth the other day, I've got a notebook full of half-written songs, man. I mean, it's just stuff that I know would be a good idea or a good concept. Like I got a concept I'm working on, so maybe you can write it because I can't seem to figure it out. But I've always seemed to, whenever I always write like heartbreak songs, or sad songs, or or slow songs, So I got this idea about, like, I wish I could write a love song, and that be essentially the hook of go through the chorus saying everything that meaning thing that you wish you could say, but you hadn't had ain't had a relationship long enough to be able, whatever, but that's kind of the concept of what I've been working on, but I can't seem to get nothing that sticks. But it's a good idea, I just ain't got the fine line. So whoever's out there listening, send it to me and give me
Help
some
your
credits.
boy out, yeah.
Give me some creds when you write it. But
Exactly.
but yeah, it's it's one of those things, like I said, therapeutic, but I don't know, I think it gives you an inside look. What was Garth Brooks said something one time. He said, whenever I'm recording, he said, if I hadn't cried, what did he say? If I hadn't cried, laughed, and sweat by the time I get done recording an album, I don't feel like I did it justice. And I feel like that's the type of content I want to put out, is something that is impactful enough to mean something to somebody, and not
Absolutely.
just a sound or something that's like, oh yeah, I'd drink a beer to this,
Right.
but probably why I ain't got a top 10 hit either. So who knows?
Exactly.
But
I'm a huge ballad guy, like country ballads and even power rock ballads. I'm a huge ballad guy, which is kind of catch-22, I guess.
100%.
Because some venues, they're like, why don't you play something up tempo?
Yeah.
Okay, stay here and drink, whatever.
Yeah. There's that meme that says, "I'm hurting, Linda."
Exactly.
That's the way I feel sometimes.
Exactly.
Like, I was thinking about what I'm feeling about. I'm with you, man. And so I'll get off track doing all that. Getting back to you growing up, you so you grow up. Where did you spend kind of the most time? Was it just every 4 years? You just traveled all around? Is there anywhere you kind
Now,
of call home?
Yes, Clinton, Louisiana.
Okay.
The big metropolis of Clinton.
I'm about to say
It's about 28 miles exactly straight north of Baton Rouge, and it's just a little dot on the map. I think the blinking light we had is now officially a stoplight. But back in the day, it was a blinking light, and right there at the Methodist Church, downtown, and that's what I really consider home.
Gotcha.
I graduated high school there. A lot of good friends and
Gotcha.
what I call family now.
Do you ever get down there to play shows? Do you pretty much
Man,
run
I
Shreveport
wish.
Road?
I wish. I pretty much stay in the Arkletics, but I would love to go down there. I'd even do a freebie if if I had it.
Yeah.
So
That's how I feel about getting over into Texas right now. And one of the things that I find is so difficult if you're not from Texas or playing in Texas. I mean, I'd take a Texas Roadhouse gig right now. You know what I mean? Just to get over into that scene. And that's what is crazy to me is like, me, you, any of our buddies that go and play shows out here can draw a big crowd. Like you played at the stage last night.
Yeah.
So, you play somewhere like that is the largest venue out here for somebody that is, in the red dirt or country scene and can pack it out and, but getting that word out into the outlying areas, it just seems like there's a wall right there. But that scene is so big out here to all of us.
Right.
But getting some of those artists to come across the river just seems,
For sure.
It just hasn't happened yet. And I think it's just because there's not a whole lot of places that either have them or whatever. But I mean, like I'm sure you do the same thing. We'll take out to Bonita Creek. We'll go to Tyler. We'll go even Dallas, Fort Worth. I mean, we went to Fort Worth, which we record out there, but we went out there. We'll go to Billy Bob's, go, anywhere out there that good bands playing. And I don't feel like we're alone because we'll see a lot of friends from Shreveport or Minden or whatever. And so I'm excited to be able to start seeing guys come over here more and all that kind of stuff, man.
yeah, it took us a long time to get in that East Texas scene to where people had faith in us,
Right.
And I won't name drop because I'm not trying to bash them at all, but there was one place in East Texas in particular, it took me years, and I would hit her up religiously, just give me a shot, just give me a shot. And all my East Texas buddies were playing it, regularly, but they had a name for themselves in that area, just like we do here. So finally, I guess she had an opening, and for whatever reason, the stars aligned. She said, "All right, I'm giving you your shot." I said, "Cool." I said, "Now, you're only giving me a week to promote, so don't hold it against me." And man, it packed out, and
That's awesome.
we had one of the best shows we've had to date.
That's awesome.
And ever since then, she books us once a month if she can, and so we love that East Texas scene.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, man, they have such a loyal fan base, and once you get in, it's a religious following.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
They, have a ticket, will travel kind of deal. I mean, they'll come out and support your merch and everything.
Absolutely. And they don't mind paying a cover charge.
Exactly, man. It's nuts. But that's the thing I love about like down where we're at over in the East Bank in Bossier. There's people come out, man, to have a back patio scene like at Frozen P Road that'll have hundreds of people on a Friday or Saturday night in Bossier is crazy. I mean, that like I love it because then you've got as that progresses and builds, it's just now it's the place to be on the weekends.
Absolutely, it's happening.
I remember growing up, we used to go over to Rabs in Ruston was like the place to be, And I remember going and hearing, oh God, what was the band? It was a band out of Nashville, but they came to this little bar. It was like parallel. It was on one of the back roads. I can't remember the name of it. If you've been to Ruston much, you probably know it. It was like parallel to where Rabs was, but it was back behind there. It was like three
Was it a sports bar
Yes.
type place? I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember the
yeah.
name of it right now, but I remember they had this band, and I loved this band and would listen to them all the time. It was the band that sang that song, Runaway. God, what's the name of that band? I can't call it right now. Anyways, we went in there, and it was a little sports bar, but it packed out,
Yeah.
you know. And we go here, Gary Allen and Rustin, so I think they kind of started it, you know, but it's just died off in the last couple of years, and so I'm excited, hoping that'll revitalize over the
I hope so.
coming months. Yeah, man. So, who would you say your biggest like musical influences are?
Man, there's so many. I'm of course a King George fan. Growing up, especially, and then Alabama was mine and my dad's favorite. I mean, we could sit in the truck and jam Alabama for hours. Now I'm just so much into Red Dirt music that I don't even turn on. No offense to Kiss Country and all those, but I don't even turn on the radio anymore. I turn on my Spotify Red Dirt playlist and just
Same
let
way,
it
man.
go. Yeah.
I'm the same way, and it's kind of a catch-22 because I've got some radio stations that are like playing my single, and so I'll turn it on just see if I'll catch it.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't want to have to listen to 14 Luke Bryan songs. You know what I'm saying? Like if it don't come on 3 or 4 songs, I just got to get back to my playlist. And so that's the reason I love that, and I've spent some time cultivating like the Red Dirt University playlist, is because that's the stuff I listen to. And a lot of people make a playlist of what's trending or the new releases, but if a popular Red Dirt guy puts out a song and it sucks, I don't want to listen to it. You know what I mean? So I don't want to add it to the playlist. So I kind of just add stuff, even if it's an older song. If it's something that I really like, I'll add to the playlist. And maybe that's selfish. It's just songs I like, but I don't really care. It's my playlist. I can do it. So, so that's kind of what I try to go off of. But, you know, there's guys that nobody knows, like me. You know, I mean, there's guys like me on there that nobody knows, all the way to a Parker or Co. that everybody knows. You know, so kind of find a little bit of everything. And one guy that you're gonna have to listen to. You ever heard of Joey Greer?
Oh yeah.
So Joey's gonna come play a show with me.
Acoustic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Joey's going to be on the show June 8th. He's
Really?
coming to do a podcast, and he's going to play with me at Piro. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we're going to play a show together over there.
I'm sure I'll be booked somewhere.
It's a Tuesday night, so maybe
Maybe
not.
not.
Maybe
Maybe
you will be free. Who knows? But I think it's not this coming Tuesday. It's the next Tuesday. So it's like a week from Tuesday. But yeah, so Joey will be in town, and Joey is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And in the Texas scene, a lot of people know him. But out here, you know, people always text me, hey, who you listening to right now? Who you like? He's one of the first people I always send because, man, his stuff is just awesome. He's doing a record right now with Cody Johnson's producer, Trent
Yeah.
Willman. I mean, and
Trent Willman. I
Yeah.
haven't thought of that name in a while.
I know it. So Trent's an awesome guy. I got to meet him in College Station about the same time I met Joey, and both just great guys. And but people like that are a huge voice and something that's coming up. There's another guy, me and him are trying to work out a date right now for him to come be on the show, a guy named Matt Williams, and he's out of Oklahoma, and dude is unbelievable. Like, I mean, is going to be huge.
Right.
But he's just now starting to get some decent exposure, and that's what I want for people to find out in the playlist is like, man, I'd have never heard about this guy otherwise, you know? I mean, I just love people being able to find out about a new artist like that. I think that's the coolest thing.
My wife and I, we set a weekend out in February and a weekend in September. In February, we'll go to Texas Mardi Gras
Yeah.
in Dallas every year. And then in September, we'll do the Western Days in Louisville, Texas.
Oh, yeah?
Well, and at Texas Mardi Gras, I'd never heard of these guys before, ever, which is what I love. And they have 5 stages set up, but our favorite is what's called the acoustic tent. And each artist that's playing that weekend will come in and do like a 3 or 4 song
Preview.
acoustic set, And we love it because we're right there on top of them.
Yeah.
So I can see whatever chord they're
Yeah,
hitting.
yeah.
And But anyway, so this little bitty guy walks up, and I'd never heard of this group ever, much less his actual name, but they were called Prophets and Outlaws. And this guy got up here and did a song called Soul Shop and just completely blew me away. I'm talking, his voice was just incredible. My mouth dropped. My wife's like, you got a man crush now. He was just phenomenal. But I love finding new artists like that aren't on the everyday radar, I guess.
Absolutely.
But he is phenomenal.
Man, there's so many guys that, have just all those songs ready, and if they just haven't gotten the exposure, it's just all hidden, And I think that artists working together and, either opening for different people and stuff like that is just a way to get that word out. Just a lot of grit and determination. But no, if we're going to start from, even by the time this airs, we'll have started promoting the show with Joey, and I hope to have a really good turnout for that, because I think that once people hear him out in this area, man, that song,
He's
Two Steps
good.
Away, is one of my
Yes.
favorite songs.
Yes.
Like, I played that for my girlfriend, and it's added to her playlist immediately. Anybody I've sent that song to said, man, that's the one, So that one will be played for sure. But yeah, man, I'm excited about that. So you said you're going to be, if you had time to sit down and write about past things you've been through in life, walk me through all that, kind of just how you got to where you are today and what influenced why you do what you do.
Well, I won't completely backtrack, but I moved up here, or back up here, I should say, when I was 19, going on 25 or 30.
Yeah.
And
Big for your britches.
thought,
huh?
yeah, exactly. And I was still kind of doing karaoke scene at the time, even DJing. And I actually ran into a guy a couple years later, and we created the Cane Pole Band, a guy by the name of Joe Kyle and I. And we got extremely popular. And we were originally wanting to be an original band. When we first started practicing, a venue in South Shreveport booked us. And we'd only been practicing a month. And I was like, okay, dude. I was like, we'll even play it for free. It'll be just a live practice, I guess. And man, it was instantly took off. And then we stayed so busy that we just became kind of stuck as a cover band.
Yeah.
Well, I drank and did probably every drug imaginable back then, and kind of got the best of me. I had them, and I ended up with Louisiana Bayou Band for a brief period of time, and
Mainly singing in all these bands.
Yeah, and rhythm guitar, holding a steady rhythm, I guess.
Yeah.
And while I'm drunk, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Right.
Anyway, it got the best of me, and pretty much hit rock bottom, and I lost my best friend on March 13th, 2013. And 3 days after that, I pretty much woke up and realized that I was next, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I took about a year and a half off and completely locked myself up in the bedroom and completely quit drinking and doing drugs. And here I am 8 years later.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's tough to overcome. A lot of people don't make it out of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it took me a solid year and a half before I was comfortable to come back out, I guess.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have taken that year and a half and
Yeah.
threw some songs together,
Right.
but
Right.
it just didn't work out. And
Well, you had a lot to focus on during that
No,
time.
for sure. For sure.
Man, and I get where you come from. It's tough for a lot of artists because, like we were talking about, it's tough to stay awake some days. You know what I mean? I mean, stage, play night. You got what, 3-4 shows this week? So 4 shows this week. I'm the same way, and we're both working full-time jobs.
Exactly.
To get home and try to make sure you hug and kiss the old lady, and everything else is just exhausting, and so I get it. but at the same time, and for me, you know, my dad was a bad drug addict and alcoholic before he became a Christian.
Really?
Like he actually died of cirrhosis years after he stopped drinking. But before he was a Christian, he, you know, shoot heroin, coke. If he couldn't afford drugs, he'd shoot up ice water just to get a rush. You know, and he was a barber. Cut all the Dallas Cowboys hair. Like
Really?
cut Roger Staubach's hair from third string to first string quarterback. Like really successful guy. He owned 3 barbershops in Dallas and had a barbershop in Cowboys office building and everything. So
Wow.
yeah, super successful guy, but drunk the whole time, cutting hair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So wake up hungover. So he used to drink the best of half a bottle of Jack Daniels every morning, just to sober up and keep his hands stop shaking.
Yeah.
And so you do that to your liver long enough, it's gonna kill you. You know. And the time he became a Christian at 35, he died in his 60s. He had never had a beer. Like, I mean, but he was just so scared he was going to get back dependent. You know what I mean? So, so if he had a migraine, he'd take half an aspirin.
That's
you know what I
me.
mean?
Yeah.
He just didn't want any chance of dependency.
I agree.
I watched him one time siphon antifreeze out of our motorhome we was traveling in, using a water hose. For whatever reason, he was siphoning out with a hose, and he ingested some of the antifreeze. And so he calls Poison Control Center, and he said, hey, what do I need to do? I just, you know, swallowed some of this antifreeze. And they said, man, best thing you can do, drink a 6-pack of beer, get it out of your system. Like, just completely flush it out of your system. And he said, I'd rather
Can't
die,
do it,
and hung
yep.
up the phone. And so, you know, he ended up being fine and everything from it. But to have that kind of impact on your life, I get it. And it's still, he died of liver disease 30 years later,
I'm
just
sorry
from all the
to hear
damn.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it's. I appreciate that. It's been 2013. He passed away, but you know, it's one of those deals where, you know, he did so much damage during the time he was drinking that it caught up with him later in life. You know, and so I think about that a lot. And then too, I think from a professional aspect is when a venue pays you to go play. You've seen it like I have. You've been to a show and the singer is drunk off their rear end, can't.
I've been that guy.
Yeah, I know. All right. So, I mean, can't formulate a sentence and somebody's paying you to go play. I feel like it's a poor business decision. You wouldn't show up to your job hammered, or maybe you would, but you ain't going to keep it long doing that, right? And so that's the reason, even if I play a show, you know, you want to provide a good atmosphere, people partying and having fun. I understand all that. But if people paying you to do a job, let's go do the job.
It's time to do business, yeah.
And I've found from talking to other venues and talking to the booking managers and stuff, if you want to get written off from ever playing another show, play one drunk.
Exactly.
And they will. I mean, that's the quickest way to get written off, at least that I've found.
Yeah, I played, well, the last show I ever played intoxicated and stoned, I guess. Again, I won't name the venue.
Yeah.
But there was a guy that regularly followed us around, especially to this, well, I'll go ahead and say it was Bayou Daiquiri on South Lake Shore Drive.
Yeah.
And there was an old buddy of mine named Robert Good, and he would show up every time we played there. He would show up, and all the old stuff like Merle and even Hank Sr. and all the good stuff, he would walk up and take my beer out of my cup holder and replace it with a Jaeger bomb. Well, for whatever reason, I had lined out that set list that night, and I
That's
had
a heavy
all
Hank.
my old stuff in that first set.
Yeah.
And finally, about halfway through it, I said, Robert, you're going to have to quit.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, I still got 4 hours to
Yeah.
play. And so he laid off a little bit, but he was still sneaking me some up there. Well, anyway, long story short, by the end of the night, I was actually sitting on my drummer's kick drum, pulled my mic stand to me. It was terrible. It was
Gone.
terrible. Hopefully there's no videos still floating around out there.
Yeah.
But it was terrible. And I look back now and see old videos that pop up, and I'm like, man,
What an idiot.
yeah, exactly.
I've been there, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I feel like in those moments you learn a lot, you know, especially on the other side of it. But I look at a lot of the guys, and which are much more successful than I am, so I sure can't point no fingers. But
Right.
man, you put all that work in to developing a successful career.
Yeah.
And it's not just in the red dirt scene, man. I've seen even in the Christian music scene.
Oh yeah,
I've seen
absolutely.
guys, man. I've played shows with guys that are like chart topping Christian artists and be drunk as a skunk, go out on stage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, that's almost unforgivable. If you
I
out there,
agree.
you know.
I
But
agree.
that's a story for another day.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, I totally respect anybody that's been through that and has come out on the other side alive for sure. I think that's awesome.
And look, you know, like that song, you find out who your friends are. You
Yep.
find out who your true fan
Yep.
base is as well.
100%.
Because I have still people to this day that follow me around religiously, and they tell me all the time that Clay and this Clay is two completely different monsters. For the better now. I
Yeah,
hope.
and case in point, you take somebody like an iconic band like Turnpike, and is just, I mean, one of my favorite bands of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
And you know, I hear that Evan's doing great, and that they're about to
I
talk
hope
about
so. I
making
really
a
hope
comeback
so.
and everything. But I mean, you take somebody that has that much success and that much talent and that good of a writer, and you know, and I'm certainly not saying this in a judgmental way. I'm just saying it for the people who may be in me and your shoes that are coming up in the scene to steer clear of, because you can take somebody that can be that successful that can still fall victim to it. And man, I sure hope and pray that he is getting better, because I'm ready for him to release some more
too.
music.
Me too.
That Whiskey in Your Water song he put out not long ago, I love that song.
Yes.
And it's like just a little taste, but I've heard that it's in the works, that they're getting back working on some stuff, and yeah, I sure hope so. I'm ready to hear those guys again and have them play a good show. I'm itching to get back to
We
that.
actually saw him at Mardi Gras 2 years ago, I guess it was. He didn't play the acoustic part. I think he was still battling some demons at the time, and but he came out and played the full band set.
Yeah.
And luckily, but they were the headliner, so we were able to come out of the acoustic tent and go catch them. He's just an incredible musician.
Oh,
you know.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
You-
That whole band
Yeah.
is just insanely talented.
They all are. And take somebody like that I think pretty much all of my band was at the Bossier show, where it was the last show, you know, and they were playing with Stoney, and they were texting me back and forth. I wasn't there, and texting me just saying, our group text, like, bro, we're at the CenturyLink. He still hadn't come out. Stoney still hadn't come out. It's 30 minutes past start time. What's going on? You know, so we're all texting back and forth, and then I start seeing it all over Facebook, and so I don't know what all ended up happening. All I know is the show was called off, you know, right beforehand. But you know, like I said, I'm glad to hear that he's getting sober and getting clean, and I'd love to hear of a comeback story like yours down the road, where he got sober and put out some more chart-topping records, you know? I mean, how cool would that be?
Oh yeah, we know he can do it.
Oh
too.
yeah, 100%. That'll be awesome, man. I'm ready. You got anything in the works? Like, you consider doing like a record or some stuff like
I
that?
would absolutely love to. I have a couple of buddies that I would like to put some heads together that I consider way better songwriters than me. So I would learn all over again, because the stuff I had in the past is, well, juvenile lyrics, like I was saying earlier, and I know I can do better than that. And
100%.
so I've got some pieces of some material that I'd like to throw together just to see what I can do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm over 40 now, but
Yeah.
I'd still like to give it a shot.
That's right. That's
One
right.
last hoorah. I
Ain't nothing
guess.
wrong with that, man.
I did the whole Nashville thing back in, I don't remember what year. I was still drunk, I'm sure. But I was in Nashville for a while and was actually about to sign a demo deal. I won't throw the record label out there, but basically I did a showcase in front of these suit and ties. And I did 3 songs, 2 originals and 1 cover. Don't even remember what I did. But basically, at the end of the day, they said, man, we love you. We love your material. go home and lose 50 pounds and come back and talk to me. Oh, I was mad. I was
bet.
like red hot. And so I blew up, and I actually considered giving it all up after that.
Really?
And so now I'll just push through it, and at the time drink another beer or
Yeah.
whatever, you know,
Yeah.
to get pushed through it. But man, it was devastating for a while.
You know, things like that, I think, impact people like us more than a lot of people realize.
Oh yeah.
Last night, for example, I was telling you about last night, but I literally, as I'm setting up my sound equipment at the venue I was playing at, that I'll not be playing at ever again, when I was playing there, I have this guy that's sitting right in front of me, and he's an older gentleman. That's, you know, so I kind of expect to have to keep it down a little bit while he's there. But I hear him say, "Oh, I see a band setting up. Well, hopefully we'll be gone before they start." You know, and so like I'm hearing that right as I'm setting up, and I'm like, God, all right, let me turn the volume down a little bit, you know. And so I'm kind of getting ready, and so I'm waiting. I'm played a few songs, and I was dry mouth as all get out. And so I'm kind of like trying to lean over the bar to ask for a drink, and so this guy turns to me, he goes, "Hey, your voice sounds pretty dry." And I mean, like, you know, so just back-to-back whammies. And, you know, they hit you with that sometimes. And I had sent my new single, which we got everything recorded, and I was proud of it, and start pitching it to people. And so I pitched it to this radio promoter over in Texas. He's like, "Man, I appreciate you sending me. It just doesn't really do anything for me. Here's some other people." And I think as an artist, though, it sucks to hear it, but you got to just take that thing and say, "Hey, I appreciate his honesty.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna send him the next one, see what he thinks of it." You know.
I'm a huge fan of constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Big time. I'll take it. I mean, as long as you're honest with
Yeah.
me and don't, you know, lie to me,
Yeah.
I guess, I'm good with that. And as long as I feel like it's a legitimate criticism, I
Right,
guess.
right.
And you're not just hating on me.
So what? Yeah, no joke. We get enough of that.
Right.
What would you say, like, to people that are kind of coming up in this thing? Like, I had a guy messaged me the other day wanting to get started playing some cover shows, and just people that are doing like the cover band scene, stuff like that. What would you say to somebody that's wanting to do that? Kind of advice would you give them? You've been all around the world twice. What kind of thing would you say? Stay
true to yourself, period. Okay. At the end of the day, your heart is what matters the most. And if you're not into pop country, which I'm obviously not, I like the Luke Combs, and there's some stuff I like, but stay true to what you love to play and be yourself. I mean, if it's Sinead O'Connor or whatever, you know, just sing it, and sing it with your heart and soul. And I wish I'd have told myself that years ago, because I tried to veer off. Even the Nashville scene, it was kind of leaning towards the pop country then, and I knew that God knew that wasn't what I was meant to do. So it worked out, and now I'm playing covers, but I'm playing the covers that
mean something
I love. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I agree, and I think that as we start playing stuff, which I'll throw in some originals during shows and stuff, but I guess the advice that I would give would be play stuff that is meaningful to you, but play something that a crowd is going to know and recognize. You are there to perform. Don't just play 50 cover songs when nobody know none of them. You know what I mean? Because you ain't gonna get invited back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that some of those kind of things, starting out, we all got to play covers. You know, nobody wants to. Like, I mean, I love playing songs that I enjoy, but at the end of the day, you want people to hear songs you've written more than anything. But not everybody wants to hear it. You know what I mean? So I get that, and there's a time and place for all of it. But yeah, I think just busting your tail, and I think people look at it as a mountain sometimes when it ain't. Like you said, me and you ain't the best guitar players. You know what I mean? I suck at guitar. I'll tell you right now. You know, I break strings like crazy. I play it too hard.
I broke one at the stage, man.
Yeah, exactly. We played at the stage. My guitar player, Travis, I was playing his acoustic at the time. I thought I had mine. Well, I've got a strap lock on mine on the back. So I always like tilt it up off of me, let my, shirt breathe or whatever.
Right.
So I kind of kick it up off of me. So I was pulling the George Strait, just kind of kicking my guitar out like that, but it was his guitar, and he ain't got a strap lock, and it crashed right on the front of the stage on the front of the guitar.
way.
And so he was real pleased about that. But I mean, I'm not good at keeping rhythm. I got areas I got to improve in all facets, but I bust my butt to learn. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to learn lead guitar right now. Spend some time doing that. I struggle in a lot of areas, but just do what I can do, and make the best of it in the meantime. But you ain't got to be Stevie Ray Vaughan to get out there and play shows. I think if you just put the work in, you're polite to the venue, you do the job for a decent price until you've done enough work and know you can pull a crowd to charge a premium for it, then, kind of just know your worth and don't live with a chip on your shoulder of, well, if they don't want to hear my music, then they can kiss my butt. You know what I mean? So I think that's the thing that I see a lot of newer guys that are starting to fizzle quick, is either they stay getting drunk, or all they want to do is play covers, or, like Seth said, they won't buy decent equipment, so it sounds like crap, even if they're good, if you're playing through crap. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different veins to go in there.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, what's the best way for people to kind of find out about where you're going to be? You're on social media and everything.
Yeah,
Where do you
Clay
kind of
Logan
promote?
Band I keep up pretty steady with Facebook and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have a website. The being your own booking agent and scheduling shows and then
fun,
doing
ain't
that, it's I just hadn't taken the time to
Yeah, this has
do
been
much more.
This has been a challenge even with this podcast. I keep telling myself, like, all right, I'm gonna start writing blogs about stuff that's going on, and now I've gotten to where I'm having my schedule on my iPhone, like, sit down and write. You know what I mean? So I get it.
And even throwing new songs in.
I know it.
My wife gets on to me all the time. It's time. It's time to change up your set list. Sure, let me take off, a week and
Do that.
I'll
Do
just
you ever
cancel
listen
all
to Flatland Cavalry?
Oh yeah.
I love Flatland. Like, Cleto's an unbelievable guitar player, and I want to play some of their stuff, and I've been kind of fooling around with some, but he's so daggum good. You want to do it justice, It's like when people come and they'll ask me. Last night, dude asked me to play a Vince Gill song, and I'm like, bro. I literally back to back. This guy comes up, asks me to play Vince Gill. The next guy asks me to play Jamie Johnson, and I'm thinking that is two opposite ends of the spectrum, But I always tell people whenever they come ask me to sing a Stapleton or a Vince Gill, it's like, okay, you come sing Adele afterwards. It's like 'cause I respect those guys so freaking much that you do one of their songs, you want to do it justice. And I did nowhere near justice to that song. I butchered it. But, you want to do it justice and do a good job of it. But at the same time, those guys are so insanely talented,
My favorite voice in country music, probably of all time, and I absolutely refuse to do any of his songs because I don't feel like I could do it any justice, is Vern Gosdin.
Oh, yeah.
The golden voice of country music. To this day, you won't catch me doing a Vern song.
Yeah.
Just for that. I can't touch that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I get Tennessee whiskey requested more times than I can count.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, I can't hit that run. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I
I
don't
studied
even
it long
try,
enough.
yeah.
So my guitar player, Travis, he'll sing it usually. But I think the world of Chris, so I don't want to butcher, a song that he covered. Or I think a lot of Dave Alco too, and just all those guys, And I just don't want to. I don't want to do that. But now Flatland's one I'm working into the set list. I got a bunch that I want to take the time to learn, but I'm like you, changing it up is a chore.
I know it.
Man, it's
Just finding time as a working musician and a full-time employee, during the week. So
Yep. It's like I was going to take tomorrow and do a lot of that, and I still may in the morning, but I got a call this week, go play at East Ridge Country Club for a crawfish bowl. Well, that's Sunday. I have my kids every other weekend and some during the weeks, and so on the weekend I don't have my kid. I always have shows. Sunday, 2 Sundays a month are my off days. It's the only days I
Right.
don't work. And so on those 2 Sundays, I'd usually try to relax, but I'm like probably like you and like me and Seth were talking, just can't say no sometimes, you know?
That I still struggle, even playing. I guess it's been coming up on 20 years. I still struggle with that, telling people no. And even if you're, previously booked, and so they offer you the gig, and I'm not gonna tell you no, but we'll pick another date. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? So
Yeah,
I struggle
100%.
with that still.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. Well, I'm hoping that here in the future, it sucks as a musician that has buddies like you guys that I want to come support y'all and hear y'all play,
Yeah.
and but we're always all playing at the same time. So I look forward to shows where, I can get to play with some of my buddies and stuff like that. So hopefully we can get some of that in the works soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Get that going. I'm sure that as things continue to grow in this area, we'll have more of that, and that'll be fun. But man, I appreciate you doing this, and
I appreciate the invite.
yeah, man, I think the world of you and your music and everything. You got your guitar. You want to sing something?
Absolutely. Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. Sometimes feels like this world's gone crazy. Grandpa, take me back to yesterday, when the line between right and wrong didn't seem so hazy. Lovers really fall in love, stand beside each other, come with me. And a promise really something people care, not something they would say. Families really bow their heads to pray. Daddies really never go away. Oh, Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. Grandpa, yeah, everything is changing fast. We call progress. Yeah, I just don't know. Grandpa, just wander back into the past. Just paint me a picture of long ago. Lovers really fall in love, and they stand beside each other, come what may. And a promise really something people care, not just something they would say, then forget. Families really bow their heads to pray, and daddies really never go away. Oh, Grandpa, tell me about them good old days. Oh, Grandpa, tell me about them good old days.
Love it, man. Appreciate you again,
Oh,
buddy.
man, appreciate
Y'all check
you.
him out, Clay Logan Band on social media. Follow him. Make sure if you are in the Shreveport Bossier area, he's gonna be playing somewhere. So get out there and see him. And we'll see y'all next week. And yeah, we're excited about the next lineups too. So y'all stay tuned. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.